Frank, what did you make of AD's second half after not playing much, obviously due to the bruised calf in the first?
He was terrific. We were just joking. I think he had 0 points with, midway through the second quarter or something like that, and he ends up with 28. So just a great second half performance. But even that, the last part of the first half, he was strong as well. 7 blocks in 30 minutes. Another defensive player of the year type of night for Anthony, and big reason we got the W.
Hey Frank, what's been your swing of emotions this season when Anthony's had some sort of scare and it winds up not really being a thing and he plays his game?
Well, anytime anything happens, to any of our guys, but in particular someone like Anthony that means so much to us, you just get nervous. We could tell from the bench that he got kicked in the calf. It wasn't like a soft tissue injury or anything like that, or a strain. It's probably going to be a bruise, and but you don't know how serious those could be. And you plan on going on without him, just in case. But thankfully, he was able to come back.
Frank, you've talked before about tinkering with the rotation and giving Alex more of a chance in those second and fourth quarters. How much of that has to do with maybe the numbers that he plays pretty well with AD and LeBron?
That's a lot. It has a lot to do with it. I mean, there's the eye test, but LeBron and Alex together is our best, one of our best combinations. Throughout the season, from a net rating standpoint, and we'll continue to explore ways that we can make sure that that's getting out there enough without overdoing it. And last 2 games he's just been playing out of his mind, and he's given us a great lift throughout the season. So we'll continue to evaluate it.
Frank, piggybacking on that, I know individual plus minus isn't always the most telling stat, but both him and Danny Green were kind of off the charts. Him and Caruso and Danny Green. Some of the stats bear it out. Green got some steals and some blocks, but what do you attribute to them being so impactful tonight?
Well, they're just both winning players, and Danny provides the gravity and the defensive intelligence and know-how, and even just offensive spacing. Even if he's 1 for 3 from the field, but ends up being a plus 26. And Alex is one of those guys that impacts the game in just a million different ways. You know what I mean? Offensive rebounds on free throws, deflections, rebounds defensively, making plays with the bounce offensively, and and catch and shoot situations. And both those guys were terrific tonight.
Coach, what was the key in your defense against Ja Morant? He had a very inefficient game.
I think it's just because we played last night. He was probably tired. We have a big team, and he's a basket attacking guard that puts a lot of pressure on the rim and in the paint. And our guys did as good a job as we can. I mean, I still don't feel like we did a great job on him. He has 17. I guess the numbers show that we did a decent job on him. But it felt like he was in the paint more than I was comfortable with. But we just tried to use our size as much as possible to keep big bodies in front of him.
Frank, are you at a point? Is it late enough in the season where you can start really considering the implications of how you play against teams that you might see in the playoffs and the way you win and things like that, like tonight? It's in the back of our minds, potential matchups and whatnot. But really just comes down to you let the 82-game body of work lay the groundwork for what the playoff matchups are going to look like. You just take each game individually and say, what do we got to do to win this game? And the answers reveal themselves after the fact. We're not thinking about playoffs tonight, and we're thinking about getting one win.
Frank, Anthony's skill set defensively is pretty unique. How much freedom or flexibility does that give you in terms of just scheming entire defenses or certain looks that you want to have out there?
Yeah, he's the best defender in the league, from a versatility standpoint and what we can do. We can, again, especially against a team like this where you have, the concerns about, basket attacking guard and Ja Morant and, guys like Clark and Valanciunas that are rolling to the basket. You can put him against their size, but also, when they have Jaren Jackson out there on the perimeter, bombing threes and being a post threat and being a rebounding threat. You know, he has the ability to play both positions at, you know, as well as anybody in the league. You know, so that's not to mention his ability to, you know, to switch out, the plays he makes in transition. You know, all those areas he impacts the game. So he's the best defender in the league. So that's the simplest way to put it.
Hey, Frank, going back to your Pacer days, excuse me, going back to your Pacer days, what was playoff LeBron like?
Just dominant, you know, mentally focused and locked in. Knew everything we were running, you know, before we even called it out. He knew stuff was coming. The anticipation and intelligence, you know, that went into that. And, you know, the determination that whatever it was going to take to beat us, he was going to do. And I guess that's the short answer.
So was it much more of a kind of a mental approach for him than what he would do physically, talking about playoff LeBron?
You know, I mean, you know, physically he would create problems for us, you know, with matchups and how, you know, what ways we wanted to switch and how little we wanted to switch, you know, with his physicality and the power of his drives and post-ups. You know, but honestly, like, I mean, you know, obviously you get into a playoff series and there's another level, but, you know, playoff LeBron, regular season Bron, I mean, he was great in both aspects.
I'm trying to figure out the right way to say this, because of course you want that, of course the Lakers need that, but playing the way he's playing this year, he distributes so much more than he ever did. What do you think the new playoff LeBron will look like playing alongside him? Somebody who's never really happened.
I think just an extension, a notch higher than what we're seeing right now. I mean, you know, every team is different. You know, his role and the parts around him have been different throughout his career. But the way he's playing right now with the shooters around him, the vertical spacing we have in the rim with JaVale and Dwight and AD, and then the ability to play through Anthony and all the other ways that we do, you know, I think will just be an extension of that and a heightened version of that.
Frank, this is the third time you've seen Memphis now. What's the biggest difference you've seen between them now when you saw them earlier in the year? And again, you said they were a young team. Do you still see them as being dangerous, being a very young team at this point?
Yeah, I have a great deal of respect for what they've been able to accomplish since January 1st, the third best record in the NBA. You know, and the biggest improvement during that stretch is on the defensive end, where they're a top 5 defense. You know, coach is getting them to do a great job on that end of the floor. They lead the league in blocks during that stretch. They're third in the league in points in the paint during that stretch. And, you know, what impresses me, you know, even though that obviously is leading to wins, but the confidence that their young guys are playing with, you know, comes from their coaching staff putting them in positions to succeed. And, you know, their coaching staff has done a great job with these guys.